All right, guys, we're live. What's up? It's Frequency Control Show. This is Rob up in this piece, and then we got.
Willie Stride. I can't see you though.
Oh, my bad. Well, they can, but you can't.
Yeah. What's up? Welcome to the Frequency Control Show. Again.
Yes, sir. All right, so today we're talking elevating your. I almost like your excitement for what your goal is or what you've set out to do, to kind of. Like people go, well, how do I have the motivation to get into what I'm trying to do? Like for me, I've struggled this week, once it gets past all the exciting part of this new thing you're doing, it's the follow through and tying up the loose ends to finish up a project that you're doing, as opposed to starting it. Everything's fun to start, but making it exciting to finish and then execute and then literally like schedule that. I was asking Will, he accomplished quite a bit of stuff this week, and I said, well, how'd you do that? Not because I'm not anything other than my motive to take that and do that myself, because I've been struggling this week and taking it for more. I have like so many random things going on that I'm taking and making a priority, but I'm hauling ass and getting those things done. But then when it's time to get to the thing that I made all this extra time for by executing flawlessly everywhere else, now I finally created this hole in my day to where I have the time to do the extra stuff to, get myself ahead in life. Now I'm like, oh, well, now I want to rest because I had to hammer so hard to get there. So I was asking Will, hey, once you're at the end of your day, you've been at work all day, you started early in the morning doing your thing. How did you find that energy at the end of everything you got going to just ramp yourself up to get into it? And he was speaking on basically making sure he's excited and getting yourself mentally prepared to be so excited about what that thing is going to be for him. And it resonated with me going, yeah, I found myself being more excited about, say, cleaning my garage and doing all this extra shit or doing a mural or whatever it is I got going. And that being more exciting than kind of the results of if I finish this new marketing thing I have going on right now, which is my priority. But I found myself not trying to get excited about it, but more of an execution thing. I was more like, get this shit done so you can get this done. And then when I get to it, it was more like from an execution standpoint. So I wasn't pumped up to do it. I'm like more of like, hey, do this now, execute, as opposed to being excited about executing it. And so I want to kind of let Will talk about it, but I didn't even talk to him about why I asked him those questions. So I figured I'd say it now so he understands kind of what I was coming from a, when you do it very sterilely and go, I'm going to do this today and finish it, but you're not excited to mow the backyard or you're not excited to do whatever it is, it makes it harder to complete that thing or finish it through and have the energy it takes, as opposed to being bogged down and slowly going through it going, God, when is this going to be over? So he had completed so much stuff. I kind of wanted him to explain to you, because it really resonated with me the way he was able to do it. Because I thought, man, if I did do that and thought about, man, what it would feel like for me to be done with this funnel and for this to be released to all my email list, my customers, man, that execution, man, that would feel so good to have that done. If I would have done that, I would have been much more apt to, like, even though I was tired, just crack on and be like, I can't wait to get this done, instead of going, man, I just want to take a nap. So I'll let Will talk about this piece.
So I did whatever I did. I thought about whatever I needed to think about that makes me feel excited. Because when I get excited and I have that emotion of excitement, it's very easy to take the actions I need to get it done. So, so that's what I did, and this is why, your mindset and your thinking is so important, because I elevated my thinking to create the excitement I needed so the actions were that much more enjoyable, and through the follow through of it all and finishing. And not only was I able to finish one project I really needed to get done this week because I got to send it out next week, I also finished this audio series that I'm working on for you guys that go with this daily takeoff checklist that I know you're downloading and have checked out. And also just thinking of finishing, knowing what finishing means. You know, finishing to me is a certain point of success. I successfully finished what I set out to do. And now that I've finished these, now I have the momentum of finishing. And success in the momentum cycle, success builds confidence. So now I finished them. Now I have the confidence to go out and do what I need to do with them. And then it creates more habits, creates more action, activity. And then activity creates more habits to keep it going into the next things. And also finishing, so knowing, looking at the success momentum I'm going to have when I finish is another way to excite me to finish. And then tie that to emotions to, the first thing I finished had to do with my child. So I tied in my emotions to my kid and what she would feel like listening and watching what I finished. And that just skyrocketed the drive to finish. And I'm watching it and it's dope. So I'm like, this is, I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean? So this is how I created the momentum for me to be able to finish that and finish this audio series in the same week when I've been kind of struggling to finish because it's pretty daunting. It's pretty daunting task to put together 5 audios, high quality, without mistakes. It sounds good. I have a 5 CD audio series here for you guys. Now I have to plug it in so you guys can download it, right? So that's going to take its next time. But to me now, this part is enjoyable because now I'm back to being creative and plugging in all the stuff I finished. So now I take that excitement into getting it done and plugging it in, all leading to I got this done, got this audio series done, plug it in. Besides marketing it, now I get to really concentrate on what I'm really trying to do to get this comic book story out now. So, once again, even more so, this is where I'm thinking of things that to give me the excitement to finish these little things so I could get to this story that I'm really excited about. And I'm excited about it all, right? I'm excited about it all. But I'm also really excited about getting the story out. And now, while it's kind of relevant somewhat to what's going on a little bit, and could be something that and already is something that is going to touch a lot of people in different ways. It already is. It's already touched me and Robert in different ways. You know what I mean? I've talked to Robert about it, and he's gone off the rails with his thinking and his thoughts and tuned into what I'm trying to talk about. And he's tuned into the story and added ideas, while I'm just like, oh, that's good. That's good. That's amazing. That's good. You know what I mean? That doesn't quite line up, but we'll see how that can work. You know what I mean? He's been in the zone. And the fact that it's a little bit relevant to what's going on is be better, man. It needs to now. It needs to be now. So, and here's another thing that I kind of wanted to get into. This is why it's so important to clearly define what you want, because the object is, especially if you're starting out, It's so important to clarify what you want because the object is something big enough, small enough it excites you, but big enough that excites you, but small enough you know you can achieve it. You know, and the object, the point is why you need to clearly define something is because the more excited about it and the more you think about it, the more times you think about it, eventually your subconscious mind will take it. Your subconscious mind will take it, not your conscious mind. The goal is, and why you need to clearly define your definite purpose or what you want, is so it's easier for you to think about it all the time. You're tying emotions to it, which gives it a stronger frequency while you're thinking. And the whole point, and you need to do it with passion and enthusiasm. I want a new car. Matter of fact, if you want it, you're not going to get it. Let that soak in. If you want something so bad, it doesn't matter how much you think about it, how much action you take, you're not going to get it. It has to be a need. It has to be a need. Obsessed. You know, think about, you know, I don't know, boxing. Everybody wants to be everybody wants to be a champion. But how come everybody isn't a champion? Because the champions have to be champions. The people that aren't champions, the people who never make champions, they only want to be champions. They don't have to be champions. Do you understand it's not a wish. It's not a want. You have to be so obsessed with it. It must happen. That's it, period. And this is how you need to tell your subconscious, this is what I want. This is why I want it. This is what I'm going to get back when I receive it. And you're so happy while you're thinking about it all the time. You know, how are you going to achieve something that you're not even excited about achieving? You're not even going to think about it enough for you to achieve it. If it's not something you're obsessed with and completely excited about it every time you think about it. This is why it's so important for you people to first starting out and first kind of getting this information, clearly define what you want. Because okay, here we go. The whole point is to get it into your subconscious mind. And once your subconscious mind, that's the subconscious mind goes to work and puts it on your path through infinite intelligence. And the only way to get to infinite intelligence is to get what you want, to get your subconscious mind to buy into what you want. And the only way to get your subconscious mind to buy into what you want is to tell it what you want as often as possible and with as much enthusiasm as you can. We can end this podcast right here. The only way to infinite intelligence, to put it on your path. And guess what? When your subconscious mind, when you get it into your subconscious mind, if you have that emotion and that feelings, when it hits your subconscious mind, it acts more quickly and more definite and more positive. This is probably the gem of all gem podcasts right here. They're all gems, but I'm really feeling this right now. This is Huge, because this is the next level of just clearly defining what you want. Why do you want to clearly define what you want? Because the whole point is to get your subconscious mind to register what you want. And then when it registers what you want, infinite intelligence kicks in and brings in your path. And it could happen at that exact moment if you tie enough emotion to it and you tell your subconscious mind, this is what I want, as often as humanly possible. And you know, the subconscious mind, it doesn't know the difference between right or wrong. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between positive or negative. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a penny or $1,000,000. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between success or failure. So it will accept any statement that you soak into it because it doesn't know the difference. So now, think about all these years and how much negative stuff has soaked into you I have let soak into my subconscious mind. Many years to this day, some days it's still easier to have negative conversations that haven't even happened yet compared to easier about thinking about what I want. And I'm 4 years into this material. Four years in, and I'll have a negative conversation right now with myself that hasn't even happened because it takes time. And this isn't a discouraging thing for you people who are just hearing this for the first time, because I'm showing you how you can make it happen quicker. This is why I've had such a good week of finishing, because I have, I've really upped the training of your mind. My goal is to train my mind, my subconscious mind. Here's the thing. The more you over and over and over and over are thinking positive and what you want, eventually your subconscious mind isn't even going to register anything negative. And all you're going to have is flowers and sunshine on your path all the time. And you're going to be able to make things happen quicker. You're going to be happier all the time. You're going to feel good. You're going to attract, events, circumstances, people, and situations in your life that are going to benefit you on your path. And the things you do want. It is, what is it? Now we go back to last week's part. You know for sure's. You know for sure's. You know for sure's. Those for sure's that you have the emotion to, you can tie the emotion to it, and that's what you're thinking about. I just want to state it again. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. It will accept anything that you are allowing into your mind constantly. And that could be a scary thing. So this is, man, you have to be relentless. You have to be relentless in defining what it is you want that makes you feel amazing every time you think about it. And you think about that to no end. So your subconscious mind gets it. And once your subconscious mind gets it, it takes action and will make it happen quickly, more definitely, and positively.
I think like for me, like you went way deep with it, which is awesome because I mean that's why I can even get it on a surface level. But just being able to get yourself excited and understanding what you want so that you can identify on a subconscious level of why that makes you feel so good, that really drives you towards your action to do it. Because of course you know you if you don't take action on anything, it's pointless. Like me, I get excited about something, but that's what I was trying to talk to Will today, was like, I'm excited about it, I believe in it, I've thought about it, I've manifested, and then now it's time to do the other half of it, which is the action piece of it. And now I'm tired. How do I break that? Because, you know, I'm working all day and I'm hammering down, and it's like, man, you know, like, now I have to really try to pull it together and work through the tiredness, and when I feel like I want to take a nap and fight the nap, to kind of just jump in and grind, just like you do if you were working out. If anybody's ever worked out, you're off work, you're tired, you're like, fuck, I'd rather nap. Or say you do your workout before work, you're like, I just want to take another hour sleep and then go to work fresh. But fighting that and then going and executing, and, you know, thinking about, say, from a workout tip, like thinking about how good you're gonna look when this starts to work out, feeling how will I feel when I can take my shirt off at the beach and my kids can be proud of their dad, and blah blah blah, or whatever it is you're trying to tap into. Or maybe you're a bachelor, it's like, and the girls are gonna check me out. Or maybe you're a lady and you're thinking, you know, I just want the other girls to be like, oh, she's looking good, you know, or how, whatever drives you. But tapping into that feeling to get you to say, fuck it, I'm getting up early, I'm gonna grind, whatever. I'm gonna be a little bit tired at work, but I'm gonna feel way better. And then, or after work, you know what, screw it, I'm tired, but you know what, I'm just gonna step into the gym and get the ball rolling, and, you know, 20 minutes in, I'm gonna feel like I'm glad I came, you know, because I feel good. Now you're all in. But it's like tapping into that piece. It was a cool thing, because, you know, when I'm asking Will, like, what did you do to execute all that stuff? Because I've executed a lot of things, but not the things that are like my primary goal. There are these little sidetracking, self-sabotaging things, like cleaning the garage and getting it dialed in so that I can drive my other business, which is ultimately the business that frees me up to do these things. But then doing so much of that thing to free me up, it got me so tired I can't even fucking do the thing that is the reason I'm doing this business. I might as well just go get a regular job. And so, like, it's like, you know, when I'm asking Will, it's more like I wanted to hear, like, he writes down this thing, or he just stuck with it, or he just said, you know what, I don't care, or he ate an energy bar. But instead he says, I wanted to tap into what it would make me feel like to have that done, or what it would make me feel like to execute and finish that, and how I would feel. And I'm thinking, oh my God, gym. It's a gym moment. And these are gyms, you know, and at that point I'm like, oh man, now, I mean, he's been talking that shit for years, and I'm like, whatever, right? It's all about smack yourself in the face and grind, bro. But when you go into, like, tapping into how it will make you feel to get done, I'm like, oh, that's the one thing I didn't do. I have all this like very write it down on a list, and all this very functional ways to approach this stuff. It's 10x, this very execution driven thing, and nothing from a feeling standpoint. And once I started thinking about it, I'm like, man, that is what I was missing this week. You know, like, I still didn't finish. I did get a lot done. I did, compared to a normal human being, I got a shitload done. But I'm talking, like, for what I expect myself to execute and for what I'm trying to achieve, which is on a grander scale, it's going to take a lot of execution. So today was a big gem for me, because it's like a totally different thing than what I would have asked for Will to do or say to me. And really, it was the thing that resonated the best. Like, man, I did not tap into how it will make me feel to be done with these things I'm trying to achieve, and how when they're all finished, man, I would feel like XYZ, you know. And oh my God, yes, I'll fuck a nap. Yeah, I took 2 naps today, you know. 2 naps. I'm like, well, I'm kind of tired. I got a half hour now. My wife's not coming home till like 9 o'clock tonight. Well, then also I say, hey, I'm coming home at 6 o'clock. Hey, I'm coming home. So and so called out on her appointment, so I'm coming home early. And I'm like, damn, because when she comes home, then it's like, okay, clean the house, make sure, like, because I like to make sure, like, we didn't just trash the house after she had cleaned it, then make sure we clean it. And it's like, okay, now I'm going to be cooking a dinner. And it's like, fuck, that's going to just totally trash my whole everything I was been trying to like do today because I thought I'll take a nap because man I got till 9 o'clock now. Then I'll hammer down until 9 and get the stuff done, or till 8 at least because we'll be on here. But now she's here at 6. I'm like, damn it, still got some done, but not like the quantity I need to get done to really get this thing out of my hair, and then back to getting these beats up and trying to land a bunch of placements and stuff and mix a few songs I get going on and work on an album and whatever the hell else I want, as opposed to sitting there spinning your wheels on one thing you want to do for 10 months when you could have got it done in 1 month, and you make that thing take 10 months. And it's like, so tapping into a feeling of how that will make you feel if you're done. And if it truly aligns with what you want and what you're trying to do, and it is adding value and helping generate that momentum towards what you're trying to go to, it's going to make you want to do it a lot more. Like, it's like, but tapping into that feeling of what that'll feel like is it's a gym. That's a gym right there. Even a gym for me, because like I was not thinking that when I was like, what's we're going to do? It's going to be something I already know, but then I'm like, oh yeah, I did not tap into like how that'll make me feel to get that shit done. To get that fucking, instead I kept looking at my garage like, man, I cleaned that shit up, looks good. My operations on my business I'm currently running, it's like solid and it's smooth and like, oh, it's so good. And sure, it was necessary, but I was more invested in that emotion and that feeling, or the feeling of this mural I'm working on right now is just fucking awesome. But it's like the best work I've ever done. So I'm now thinking about, oh my god, when I can show that these people, my barber's he does murals and stuff, and I can't wait to tell him like, yo, dude, check out this shit. He's like, dude, I gotta see some of your work. I'm seeing his. We're sharing. He does murals and shit as well. And that's what I'm thinking about, how those things make me feel. And then the other thing was this tactical, like, I got to get this thing done. And so I wasn't attached to a feeling of how that thing made me feel. It made me feel if I was going to be done with it. And so I found myself like really taking a nap or slowing down instead of getting that shit done at the rate I needed to get it done at, like, because I could have been done all the way. I'm so damn close to done anyway. It's kind of like, I don't even have any emphasis on hammering down because like so much of it's done. I'm like literally like 3 hours from being finished. But these 3 hours have taken the duration of a whole fucking week to finish. When if I locked in 3 solid hours, I'd be done. But it's taken 7 days. I'm still not done. I'm like, fuck, like, and those 3 hours are taking me away from mixing these songs I got to get finished. And starting my new album, and then ultimately starting my beat stuff to keep submitting to Snoop, keep submitting to these libraries, keep submitting to my online shit, keep my shit going, like all this other crap I need to get done. And it's like I just said, that's fucking a gym right there. All this other crap I need to get done. Whoa, is that the feeling you're attaching to all the stuff you're doing? Right, as this heap of thing I got to do, as opposed to
how easy is it to finish something that's crap?
It's hard as fuck.
Hard.
It's gonna take me 8 months to finish a 3-hour project, and then
this is why the thinking is so important.
Yeah,
99.9%. Because what I did is I tricked myself. I tricked myself into finishing. And I had to I started with my child. And then as soon as I finished that, I'm like to these audios, and I started thinking of some other stuff that keep the excitement and the anticipation going. Because to me, it's easier for me to take action when I'm excited and feeling good. And this is how I use my imagination, because I have a pretty crazy imagination. So I use that as a tool to imagine as often as I can happy things, right? But I use it as a tool to imagine seeing the pictures and getting excited about those pictures that gets me excited about finishing. So I can experience that and whatever else is coming. Not to mention, success builds confidence. To me, finishing these is a success.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the gym of like me thinking, man, it's like fuck, I gotta do homework tonight. Like say you're in school, like say you're in school, or man, fuck, I gotta do the brakes on this truck, or my god, I gotta do the fucking spark plugs on this truck, and I have these I have a 3D3 stroker in this truck, right? It's got headers. This thing's a master beast. It can climb anything on Earth. And to do the spark plugs is a fucking nightmare. Like it's gonna be like one spark plug's gonna take me 90 minutes just to get that bitch out after I bleed my knuckles, and it's like, fuck, I gotta do this, as opposed to, or god, the yards look so shitty in the back, and I gotta weed it, instead of going, hey, here's the hack. How will you feel when you get the spark plugs in that truck and you're driving and you can hear that engine and you're going by, people are going, oh man, last week it was like blah blah, it's about to fucking fall apart, it sounded like, and now it sounds like a beast of an engine. Or man, so and so's hanging out in the backyard with me, and they're looking in the backyard like, man, Rob's got a nice little backyard, this is cool, pause. But anyway, it's weed eated or whatever, looks good. It's like, how will I feel when that's done? Or if I had to clean this room, man, it's gonna feel so good when that's done. Oh man, I'll do this and that in there, and this will be so cool. And it's so funny, I've accidentally done that with like cleaning my art room, going, oh hell yeah, man, when all that paint's put up, and I have those racks set up for my spray paint, and I have my easel set up, oh man, I'll be
cool to look at it.
I'll be in there painting fucking hours, because it's going to be such a cool area. And I'm feeling how that would feel. And so like yesterday, my son's learning to drum, right? So I'm teaching him how to drum and keep time and all that stuff while I'm cleaning up like spray paint and markers and just shit loads of art equipment. And I'm talking lots of art equipment. And so I'm like sitting there while he's jamming out on the drums, teaching him little stuff. Here's how to keep that. And because I'm tied into the feeling of how that's going to feel, to be able to be like a jam room / art room / it's just a vibe, spiritual room, right? And I'm like all in on it. And I'm so pumped up. I was super tired. My kid's like, hey, I want to play drums and start practicing on my drums until I get it really good. And I'm like, okay. And I believe him, because he does it on guitar. He's really good at guitar already. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's do the drums, but you got to lock in and do this. We get up there, and I'm locked into the feeling, right? But I'm not doing the thing I need to be doing that is slowing me down from working on the next phase of my music. Instead, I'm cleaning my art room. My art room, for me, art, as much as I love it, is secondary to me. And I mean graphic arts and painting and things of that type of art, because music is an art as well. It's secondary to me as far as what I'm trying to do, as far as freeing myself up to do other things. But I'm excited about this next phase of this art shit that I've been doing, because I've been tapping in like crazy. But it's like the next thing like I'm like not tapping into the feeling of finishing this marketing thing, which would ultimately free me up from doing anything else in my life, to where I could paint all I want, make all the beats, and do all the albums I want. And so I have to tap into the feeling of what it'll feel like to be financially independent, and be able to do whatever I want. And that's the tough part. And then today was that gym. Today was a gym. I love these podcasts. I swear to God, like today I was up here in my studio for some reason. And I was like, man, no, I wasn't. I was downstairs in my station for shipping. And I was like, man, I'm so pumped up for this podcast. As soon as I get upset, I'm like, fuck yeah, today's the podcast day. Like, it just like immediately I feel better, because it's almost like counseling. It's like it's a therapy session for me.
100%.
And I almost hit you up today, man. It's like, man, as soon as I get mad or like
I almost did too.
if I'm fighting with my wife or whatever stupid ass thing it happens to be, it's just like, I'm like, man, fuck the world. And I'm like, oh man, I got the podcast tonight. Fuck yeah, I can't wait. This is dope. You know, I'm doing something. And the podcast makes you feel like I'm doing something other than just sitting around with my life. And I love that I love that someone's involved, so I have to fucking do it. Even if I'm tired and no matter what. I love the accountability side of it. But and the niche in this podcast is positivity and growth, and so like no matter what it's not like we're just talking to bullshit and talk about Tupac's new album, or you know, like it's like no, I'm dated myself, but like the bottom line is that's not what we're doing. We're over here like whatever we're angling on is gonna be positivity. So even if we're in a crooked angle that day, you're gonna somehow come out a little bit more positive. And I did today. I learned something. So, and that wasn't even what I intended on doing today. I didn't intend on the gym that's going to help me achieve what I need to achieve in the next few days, because it's really been a struggle, and I've been down on myself because I haven't been executing like I normally do. Normally, I'm fucking high output. Execution. I'm hardcore, and I'm strict. I'm like a drill sergeant, and I haven't been this week as much as I'd like to. Most people would look at it and go, "Man, you've been doing great. You're making progress. Progress is progress." I'm like, yeah, but the things I can execute this week, because I'm at the ass end of this project, are like very simple ass things. I'm talking like write an email. It's like doing this email sequence, right? And it's like, well, some of it's a hell of creative writing, which is dope. It's almost like a piece of art too. I'm so proud of this email I wrote. Like, dude, check it out, how it takes your mind on a path and do this thing, and it adds value, and it helps you, and it also steers you in a direction and gets you to want to purchase the thing that will add value to your life, and all this shit. And you're like, dude, this is like finesse, and it's like, it's an art form in itself, and but it's very simple shit, and it's like, I'm not executing at the level I want to. But the bottom line is there's a gym, and there's something to be said about like the podcast. Every Thursday I'm like, I'm upset. I feel like I'm down on myself. For instance, I was down on myself for not getting this as much as I wanted done with this email campaign, which is the ass end of what I'm trying to do and finish over my funnels and stuff. And I'm like, man, podcast is night. I'm gonna feel good because I'm doing something. I'm executing. You know, it's going towards what I'm trying to get done in my life, and I feel so good. You know, like, and even if I'm upset, like this person's upset me, and I'm like, you know what? Who cares? I got the podcast tonight, and I just feel like, you know, hey, I'm doing something. I'm doing something not ordinary, because I mean, I don't strive to be regular. I don't like regular. You know, that's not my shit. You know. Doing something different. For instance, I watched a guy, even not regular, being this guy Asher. He's he's an artist, I should say. You know, and he lives on Skid Row in LA. You know, and he literally like shakes the hand of all the people down the tents and stuff against the walls, and guy needs a beer. He's like, I don't have any money, bro. He's like, but you know what? I have good karma on this block. I'm gonna walk down, and he goes down, walks down. Yo, man, I need to get a beer, and the guy hits him off with $20. He's on like IG Live. Goes to the store on the way. Some lady asks him for a quarter. He goes, look, I ain't got a quarter. I got $20, but I gotta buy this guy a beer with it. Next thing, but he told me to pay it forward, so I'm gonna give you more than that 25 cents. You know, and she goes, well, could you get me a beer? He gets her a beer. He gives her $1. Gets the other guy 2 beers, gives him $5, like, and he just hitting off all these people with this money he borrowed from another guy on the block, paying it forward. And I started thinking, like, damn, man, you know, there's just so much to being like normal people would just walk past all those people. And they'd be like, can I get a quarter? Be like, man, eat a dick, get a job, right? And they keep walking. Man, get a job. I got a job. I have to go to work every day. You guys are chilling here, like. And he doesn't. I just thought it was so dope that he's doing something above and beyond being normal. And that's what this podcast makes you feel like, because he's, as much as he was adding value and being kind, and he came back to this guy after taking a 20-minute walk, borrowing money, going and buying this guy beers, came back, brought him the beers, gave him $5 extra, and it's like he just went above and beyond and added value in that guy's life. Sure, you could say alcohol is not a good value to this guy's problem he had, which was alcohol, which might be the reason he's homeless. But at the end of the day, it was value in making that guy feel good, like someone gave a shit about him in his life, right? And I think about that in the same with this podcast. No, we're not on Skid Row, but we're out there adding value to people's feelings and emotions. For instance, just starting this podcast, what it's added in value in my personal life, my life. And I got on this podcast. I wasn't looking for anything. I merely asked Will a question because he had executed highly in this weekend. I thought, shit, man, you already got that and that done. I thought for sure he ain't touching those audios. He's gonna be working on those videos, spinning his fucking wheels. That's gonna take 5 months. This shit ain't gonna go nowhere. What's he gonna? And he knocked it all out. And I was like, oh shit, I need to know what you did to get that all done, right? That was for me. I'm like, damn, because I'm thinking, I know how it is when you get sidetracked on a new thing. You fuck off the old thing. And then you keep that system going on you. That'll be forever in your life. And to be able to go consciously get outside of that, knowing the dangers of that, and still coming back and getting it all done is awesome. But I just think the amount of value that our intention is on the Frequency Control Show, it's nothing but a value standpoint. We've only recently started thinking, well, how can we monetize this so that we could, not get rich, but basically be free to add value nonstop, as opposed to be like, I'm at work, and I don't have time to do this, but all of a sudden now I can do this because I figured out how to trade value for some sort of currency so that I had free up my time so I can just keep adding that much more value and double down on value. And that just reminds me of this podcast, because this podcast is only geared out of, we never thought of this podcast as a monetary thing. It was never a monetization. There was no money involved. It was like, we should do this, and just, we love talking about like this shit that helps people in their life and help you with gems to get where you're going. Because I talked to Will today, you guys can all see on this live, and now I'll go about my next few days and probably execute that much better. That added value to my life, my week, my life, the duration of what I'm doing, and my kids' lives and my kids' lives. And if they keep passing that concept down and then spreading it to their friends, fuck, this could add value to, oh shit, we're on live on YouTube to billions of people, or it's only 1 billion people on the internet. But the bottom line is, all those people, it could be more billions, because the people off the internet get the game off the internet and then go to the people who aren't on the internet and drop them as gems. But being able to garner the feeling of how that thing will help you feel, it's a wrap. After that, you can't read that shit. So the bottom line is, this is add more gems than to me. So that's what I just love about this. Is just value driven.
Yeah, so he touched on his kids and stuff. Now, I kind of want to touch on that. Like, this is an excellent scenario where you could use people, because you can use people to your advantage to create good feelings. Like, I want to take it to another level with Robert. How would his wife feel with if all the weeds were gone, and that kind of stuff? And you're using the feeling of how his wife would feel as a tool to help get the shit you don't want to do done. You know what I mean? So don't be scared to use people. I use my kid all the time, but I'm using her in a way of thinking about her in a positive light, what it would be like to see her do this, see her experience this. Have her sit next to me on a podcast. Help her design clothes. I use, I think about her, and that creates excitement for me, an easy way to create excitement and drive. I think about my kid. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll even thought, what happens if I don't do anything? And my daughter's like, what have you been doing? This whole nope, gotta go, right? You know what I mean? Gotta go to work, gotta put in the work, because I'm trying to show her I'm the only person in her life that's gonna show her she doesn't have to do basic stuff. You know what I mean? And then I didn't settle for stability. You know what I mean? Which has been difficult, has been challenging. But there's another thing that excites me. I have to finish this stuff because this is how I'm going to get to the point to be able to prove to her she could go write her own books, design her own, go to Paris, become a designer, do runway shows, and do what makes you happy. The finances will come, Yeah, so don't be, this is a good way to use people as a tool. And you're thinking about, there's nothing wrong with it. You're thinking about it in a positive way. You're thinking about somebody because you're trying to do positive things, right? So you're using people, thinking about them in a positive way to excite you to continue taking action. After the initial excitement of what you're doing starts fading away, because it'll fade. It will fade. The excitement to finish will fade, especially when it's grueling hours and hours. Sometimes I have to be up until 3, and I do not want to continue.
Yeah, it's like,
but I have to.
It's like you think about it. It's like originally any idea at the beginning, you're tapped into how that'll make you feel. At the beginning, when you think of an idea, it's how will that make me? Oh my God! You're tapped into the feeling of it. But way later in the execution, how it'll make you feel, you lose that angle, and it's more about what you need to get done, and you're tapped into the action as opposed to the feeling like you get in the beginning. You start out with, oh my God, what if I did? And you're thinking about feeling, not realizing you're not conscious of the feeling, but subconsciously you're thinking of the feeling, and that's what makes you want to do it in the first place. So anything you start to think about what you want to do, whether it's like, I want to start a business, oh my God, I'd be rich, oh my God, and you're thinking about the feeling. And what you lose later in that process is how that'll make you feel. You just got to re-tap into that. I mean, this is all coming alive right now in this actual show as we do it. This is live happening as I started thinking, man, you know what? And any great idea I had in the beginning started off with the feeling. And in the last end stages of completing those things that it needed to do, I would lose sight of the original excitement, which was the feeling I would create. How did I want to feel? And in the beginning of a thought or a journey, you're always thinking, like when you go, I'm going to do a hike up the Pacific Northwest from California all the way up to, or from Mexico, Baja, all the way up to Alaska. And you think about how that'll make you feel knowing you achieved that. But you're hit Oregon and your fucking feet are tired. You've already got a rotten toe now, and you're like so beat and you're sick of this shit and you just want a hotel room and just to chill and take a hot shower. You forgot about the original reason you started, which is how good it'd make you feel to have this accomplishment that you could just be like, oh, well, what have you done in your life? Oh, man, I hiked the Pacific, whatever they call that thing, where I go along, and I did that. And they're like, what? You did? Oh, you climbed Mount Everest? You think of those things, and how that'll feel to be able to say that, there's something to be said about it. You know, it's I know, like with the Snoop Dogg thing, that was like, it's like I still talk about that. Like that was such a big deal to me. Like to fucking work on music with one of my idols, and then, you know, these guys would have me, but people don't realize the hard part of it. These people would have me up at 3:45 a.m. I need to work at 7, meaning I got to get up at 6 to get ready. It's 3:45, and I'm trying to finish the song, and they're calling me all hours because they're up. They don't give a shit that I have a regular job, you know, but that's what I'm doing to get it done because I was tapped into how that would make me feel to finally be on. But I'm up at 3:45 going, fuck it. I guess I'm going to have to drag ass all day tomorrow. You know, but whatever. Because it's tapped into the feeling. You know, there's something to be said about this. Today's an eye-opener for me, for sure. You know, and I know it should be for everybody else, you know. And for me, that game is ain't will never leave me again, because now I have, like, Will could have told me this 4 months ago, I wouldn't have tapped into the concept of that. But now I feel like I can take that information, articulate it the way I feel it needs to be articulated to my child, to a friend, to a stranger, to anybody, and kind of explain to them, hey, you need to tap into the feeling it made you feel at the beginning to be able to keep executing and keep adding action. If not, if you don't, you know, what's funny, as a store manager, district manager in my past career, you know, you would explain to everybody the why behind why they're doing all this stuff and why are they jumping through all these hoops and in the business and your vision and what you're trying to do. And you would always explain the why so that they would understand and resonate and want to do those things. And then you forget about yourself and your own journeys, that you have to explain the why and how that makes you feel so that you can stay tapped in and stay keeping that momentum, you know what I mean? And keep that drive going, you know, and that's massive. I mean, that's a big gym, you know what I mean? For me to go, I now know I can add that value after today. I can add that value piece to somebody through their journey and the rest of their life, and anybody's journey. I know to say, hey, here's how you tap in, you know, here's how you tap in and keep going at the ass end of when you're tired of what you're doing, you know. That's why you see any boxer, soccer player, gymnast, basketball player, football player, anybody at the end of their career, the why and how it makes them feel is gone. And you like see them like falter. It's like, oh, well, it's because they're old in the game. It's like, dude, these guys are 5 years old. They still physically can handle this shit. Just because they're not 25 anymore. I didn't feel any crazier at 35 than I did at 25. So when people say that shit, it's like, no, stop that. You know, LeBron James is 40-something years old. You know what I mean? Like, come on, and he's smashing on everybody. The bottom line is, when you understand why and you can keep tapping into the feeling you thought of as a kid when you were in high school going, I hope I just make it to the NBA, the NFL, you know, whatever it happens to be, and you can keep tapping into that. It's just these guys, you see them later in their career, Brett Favre or John Elway or somebody later in their career. Let's look at John Elway going to shit and then came back and fucking figured out his why again after having a bunch of shitty years, and then he started winning Super Bowls right at the end of his career. He's an old broken ass old man and started just kicking everyone's ass at the end of his career of the Broncos. You know, he started winning his Super Bowls at the end of his career. Early in the career, he was in the Super Bowls. Joe Montana smoking his ass. And then later on in life, 10, 15 years later, he's in the NFL, you know, winning Super Bowls and shit, you know. So it's understanding your why and tapping back into that at the ass end of what you're doing when it starts to wear off, you know. That fantasy wears down. You got to remind yourself of why you're in it, you know. It's a gym for me, man, because I now know I can help a lot of people to maintain that momentum and follow through to the end of what they're trying to achieve.
object, man, is be able to control your mind. If you can control your mind, there's nothing you can't do. I'm gonna give an example here. Like, I was just thinking about this. Like, I've been refocusing, right? And really, like, paying attention to my thinking and stuff like that because I got saturated with this information, like, all the time. But, like, your thinking, man, is 99% of everything. So think about this. So, like, what you're letting get to your subconscious mind. Like, I'm going to use my job, for example. They just hired another guy. He used to work there before. First of all, I'm very grateful for my job. I'm very, I'm the most grateful person in that store for this job because it's allowed me to be able to do exactly what I'm doing. So I'm extremely grateful to be there. With that being said, I don't belong to be there another day. I don't belong there another day. You know what I mean? So, but this is an example. I just want to use an example. So here I am thinking about my job, right? This new guy, not very fond of the guy, right? But my job, it's extremely frustrating. Extremely frustrating. This is what I'm thinking. Now I'm thinking about. This is what I'm thinking. Matter of fact, I'm telling you right now. So I'm thinking, it's very frustrating because I'm working with low vibrating people that are vibrating at low levels of not being able to succeed. Um, this is basic work, and they can't even execute. A lot of these people, not everybody, a lot of these people can't execute basic stuff, and that's frustrating. So here I am at work. I can get frustrated. I can get down. Oh my gosh, I have to get out of here. Oh, here's this guy. Negative, negative, think negative, negative, and bam. What am I feeding? What has my subconscious mind got to grasp from? When I'm over here, oh my gosh, horrible, I gotta go. This sucks. Retard. Nope. Don't like that person. You know what I mean? You know, you know what I mean? So I had to switch it. Like, you know what? I'm gonna be happy this guy is here. It takes some of the load off. You know what I mean? It takes some of the load off. It doesn't matter if he's a snake. It doesn't matter if he does stuff and it doesn't get done the way it's supposed to get done. That it now it lands on my shoulders. Follow up. It doesn't. None of that matters. That's just all the negative stuff. What am I thinking about and letting my subconscious mind grasp onto? So I'm like, whoa, I had to change it. Like, man, you know what? I'm glad to be here. I'm glad there's another person. I am going to work with this person. I'm going to help this person, which you should do, right? You're at work, but I'm going to have a positive attitude about it. I am going to use this as a time where I can practice self-control of my attitude and my positivity and thinking good about other people and seeing the good in other people, doing more than what I'm getting paid to do. Because this type of thinking is what I need to soak into my subconscious mind, so everything that shows up on the path what I am doing is leading me to happiness and feeling good. Because that's all there is. And I know the amount of amazing and happiness and good feelings that you think about and you let in your subconscious mind, it won't even allow any more negativity. Let me repeat that. It won't, if you consume it, which I'm telling you, we already had the whole first hour. Get obsessed with thinking about what you don't want, happy emotions, right? If you only consume it with all positive, even this little thing at my job and having to reframe it so it helps me feel better. It helps me know what I'm thinking good thoughts. That's gonna soak in. That's what's gonna bring into my path on how I can move on from there and have go further, be better, touch more people, get around more successful people, have a better mindset, be led to more success. You know what I'm talking about? Attract more success because there is nothing coming in but amazing. Your subconscious mind won't even take any more negative, cranking out nothing but positive. I wanted to leave. I kind of wanted to leave with that a little bit, you know. So, for you people, a little recap, especially for first starting out, do yourself a solid. Clearly define what you want. Write it down on paper. Get obsessed with it by thinking about it all the time. Repeat it with enthusiasm and back that up with belief that you can achieve it. And then you will figure out the action steps you need to take to achieve that definite purpose or that clearly what you defined. And then it will soak into your subconscious mind. Infinite intelligence will kick in, and things will, like magic, start showing up on your path that leads you to that success. The more emotion, the more happiness, the more feeling you can tie to it, the quicker it'll happen, the more definite it'll happen, and it'll be more positive. That's all I have.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. I mean, we beat the shit out of that one.
We sure did. This is so great.
But it was for me, it was a
right now.
mind blower. So like, we could go on for days, but I think it's pretty. It's pretty simple. It's so advanced. It's simple. Again, this is TDS in the building. So yeah. All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Hit that daily checkoff sheet, which is the way he was able to tap into the emotion of how he's feeling about what he's doing.
100%. Audios are coming.
And we have some stuff coming. So some exciting shit to come.